So I've noticed a lot of companies within the same industry kind of emulate the same vibe or feel. Why do you think that is?
I think a large part of it is how they are using the typography, right? So typography is how you're choosing your font, but also how you are using them within a design context. A lot of fashion brand, you will see that they use these kind of serif font, very high contrast, to really make themselves feel, very upscale, very high end. Where a lot of tech brand, you will see they use a lot of these sans serif that are very legible and very usable across all the application. Facebook, Google, they kind of have the same look for this very same reason. So typography is really vital for establishing the mood. If you think about typography, it's really the voice of your written word. When you communicate to your person, there's a lot of way you can talk and the way you enunciate. So typeface bring that into your written material and makes them sound a specific way for the audience.
Yeah, exactly. So for Disney's logo, like they have the very whimsical cursive type of font that aligns with their fairy tale vibe. For Coeus, we use something similar to sans serif, like you said, a lot of tech companies use and businesses use. But because we want to portray that, innovative, disruptive feeling with our brand as well, we wanted to add a little bit of an extra detail with the curves and that little extra design. So that's why we use Bricolage Grotesque, because it has that little extra detail that kind of gives it that disruptive feel.
This is why you see a lot of brands actually create their own custom font. A good example recently that I really like is actually Spotify Mix. They released this new font that, very sharp. You can see a lot of energy in how they draw on their font. And that kind of become a very powerful tool for them, right? Because like everything they write from now on will feel Spotify. Even though they don't put any extra effort, it will feel like Spotify. So that I think is a very important and powerful tool that's a lot of brands are using. Another important aspect in the use of typography and branding is how you would use it. For example, like if you are writing a lot of content, you are creating a lot of things that people will need to read, you might need to choose a more legible font. That's why when you see for brands that have these very expressive type, they usually pair it with like these hyper legible font to really help people read their content easily. And usually that means choosing something like sans serif, like the classic Arial. For brands, they would choose something that, have that look, have that modern feeling so that, that content is easier to parse.
Yeah, exactly. So when we have something written out in less words on our site or on visuals, we use the Bricolage Grotesque font because that's more detailed. But when we have more written out on the site for descriptions and such, we use a more simple font, which is Inter. So that combination, works really well for us.
Let it all